8:39. And we are back live.
It's 8:39. We're out of executive session. And I'd like to ask council, is there any action to be taken at this time?
Yes, Mayor. I would make a motion that the village not extend the agreement with Art Owens, placing him on paid medical leave, and require him to use his accrued leave for future absences beginning on November 3rd, 2023.
Is there any discussion in regards to that option?
I'd just like to add that, we're here elected officials.
No, we haven't had a second
Yeah,
yet.
second. Somebody else.
I'll make a
Okay,
second.
second by
Go
Mike.
ahead. Now you can talk.
I'd just like to say that I think that, we're all elected here to oversee the budget for the village. And in this, I feel like Art being a good employee for the village, we've given time that's paid for him to try to get it together, and without a for sure date of when he's going to get that, that exam to tell what they can do for him, he should probably use some of his paid time.
Any other comments? This is something that we discussed at our last council meeting, that we'd be addressing that tonight, which we have done. So we have a motion on the floor by Jeremy. We have a second by Mike to this effect. We will do a roll call vote at this point in time. Nancy?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Kelly? Bink?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Very good. Passes unanimously. Okay. Very good. We'll move on to the rest of our items. On page 14 of your packet is our payment listings, and if there's questions in regard to some of those expenditures, our acting administrator is here. He may know what they are. If not, we can approach Fiscal Officer Natalie Newberry for any of the explanations on these at your convenience.
Fillmore Construction, is that the paving?
They're,
Yes.
yeah.
Mager Systems and Services?
I'm not sure who.
I'm not sure on that one, Nancy.
What's the Case Lawn Care?
They do the cemetery. They do some of the mowing out there, the weed eating.
Is that for, how long of a period of time is that for? I was at $9,545.
I don't know what the time frame is. I don't know if that's per season or if they do that every 2 months or what. I don't know what the breakdown is on that, but we can get that clarified. Any other questions? If
Fillmore
not,
Construction, was that for, did they just mention that, somebody?
yeah, the paving.
Okay.
I believe that was the firehouse, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Okay. No other questions. You can bring those other questions to Natalie Newberry, or we can bring them back to the next council meeting. At this point in time, we'll go on to our roundtable discussion, and I'll start down on my right here. Mike, do you have anything for roundtable?
I just hope a lot of people realize that this is a really difficult job that we do. We try to do the right thing. It's not always, the information's not always given complete when we do have to make decisions. Other than that, we've got a party tomorrow night on the square, Halloween party. A lot of free hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks there. And there will be several concessions also, I believe, there. Come out and have a great time.
Anything else, Mike?
Do you know what time that is?
7, or it starts at 6, right?
I saw it.
6 to 10.
It's right there.
All right. Bink, do you have anything for council?
Yeah, I do want to address a little bit what Steve Wolf was sharing. I want to be very clear. When we came out of executive session, we were discussing the items that pertain to Mike. I did not in any way feel that there was any sexual harassment, and I want to be very clear about that. And I did not feel in my first hearing of the statement that it was clear enough that there was no sexual harassment. Was it behavior something that I would condone? I don't know necessarily. I don't know all of the events that took place. I would say that one of the things that I want to be very clear about also is that with the way that things have gone here recently with the council, with the way a lot of different parties have been behaving themselves, I think that what we need more than anything is for people to be kind to one another. You know I'm a pastor. I think that sin is an issue. If we have sin in our hearts, that it's something that is going to cause problems and it's going to come out. And I want to be clear that I do not support anyone specifically for any position. I will never use my position as a pastor to tell anyone who they should vote for. But I want to just make sure that we understand that if there is an integrity issue, we have to call it out. And I want to make sure that everyone is going to be fair with one another. And I want you to know where I stand on these things. So start trying to treat one another with respect is what I would ask. When I started on this council, I wanted to do this because I wanted to make a difference in this village, because this village has great, I believe, great days ahead of it. But if we don't get past these things, we will have just more and more problems. And when we get to November 7th, if you elect me, I will be happy to serve. If things change on the council, we have to be ready to work together. If things don't change on the council, we have to be ready to work together. I will be praying for the results, and I'll be praying for this village.
Anything else, Bink?
That's it.
All right. Kelly Campbell.
I do have one thing that was brought to my attention yesterday. Where was the water main break? Was it, what street? by
Down at the
chance?
bottom of the post office hill, down there by the Grant Homestead, at the corner of,
So that would make sense. Where, I'm terrible with streets. I think it's a Bailey House. Does that sound right? Like
The
the,
Bailey House is right up the street from the lake.
then some,
Yeah, toward the
so this
intersection.
person lives right across from it and said they had like zero pressure.
What had
The
happened?
sink doesn't even work and, I don't know.
Yeah, there could be, I don't know if they've got all the air out of the line or not. There was only 2 houses on that line that broke. It was a 2-inch line that went from the corner up the hill, up water. And unfortunately, I think Mike got shut off too. In order to take care of that, they had to shut down the whole downtown. It affects, there's a boil advisory right now that goes clear over to Elm Street. But they were still going back today. I think they were going to have to pull a meter or 2 to try to get some more air out.
Okay.
So they are working on it. They're aware of it.
All right, I'll tell them. Thank you for that. That's all I have. Thank you.
all right, that's it. Thanks, Kelly. Jeremy.
I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm just not as eloquent as Bink. I just love what he said. And I would second and third that if I could. The kindness part spoke to me in particular. And also we have, if we're trying to focus on some positive things, we have a great couple days coming up here in the village. The announcement was already made for tomorrow night. The weather is going to be beautiful. I hope everybody comes. And please do not forget next Tuesday, the 31st, for Halloween, it's 6 to 7:30. He's like, okay. And like I said, last meeting, we had some special guests reserve a spot, and that's always really exciting. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing you out trick-or-treating on North Main Street. Please be careful with the kids out, and hope we have a great couple of days coming up here. And I believe that is all.
Nancy.
Try to be quick.
Yes, I wanted to clarify a couple of things. Number one, I keep hearing that the election, because it's a general election, does not cost us anything. And that is not true. The election cost in 2019, which was a regular election, cost $2,321.16 because of I think the fire levy was on that year, and also if we should form a charter committee. Then you go to the next one, 2021, it was only $795.84. But we do pay for general elections, and we do pay more if there are issues on them. So,
Well, I spoke with the DOE and that was not what they told me.
okay, well,
I gave
Joe, would you like
Okay,
to,
this is roundtable discussion. It's not bantering back and forth.
Joe, would you like to expound on that at all?
I didn't make the call to the Board of Elections, so I don't know the exact.
Okay, this is information that I got from our fiscal clerk, what each of those elections cost us, what we paid. So I go by what our clerk paid to them.
Enough. Come on. No.
And what I said
Nancy?
was up to.
Nancy, are you got
Okay.
anything more?
Oh, no, I have more. Okay, that's taken care of. I want to make it clear that I had nothing to do with the complaint against Mike. My daughter's 46 years old. She's never listened to me anyway. I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with what council decided. I had nothing to do with what was read. I just, because it's been insinuated that obviously I was on the phone 56 times with the solicitor about that, and I had nothing to do with any of that, as is proper. The only other thing I've got is December 2nd, the fire and the EMS are hosting and sponsoring the annual Christmas scavenger hunt and the Christmas parade again this year. And you should be receiving, businesses should be receiving form that in the mail for the parade soon.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
hours on the parade. Do you have the starting time on the parade?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, I probably do in my email, but offhand, I don't. Seems to me, well, I won't say it.
Chief, do you have anything for council?
Yes. I went ahead and gave everybody, I gave you guys this at the last meeting, but it's just the statistics from September. So as you can see, we dealt with 95 different types of offenses in September. And we had handled 432 different types of calls. Of course, you can see a big jump in the parking violations because it was fair time. So. And then I just wanted to quickly just say how proud I am of Corey. I can't imagine the thoughts that were going through his mind when he responded to that active shooter. I watched the video body cam numerous times, and I'm just very impressed with the calmness and the professionalism that he had throughout that call. It's one of those calls that you hope you never get. And luckily things played out the best way they possibly could for law enforcement anyway. I can't, my heart goes out to the family. I can't imagine that as well. But I am very proud of his actions that day. Also, I'm very proud of, Chase and his efforts to save that gentleman's life. That's, you get into this work and you hope to make a difference in some way, shape or form. And I'm sure that when, Chase went home that day, he felt that I'm sure he felt good about the things that he had done and that he had actually made a difference in that person's life and that family's life. And
Did that happen during the service, like the church
Yep.
service?
I believe so, yes. And then, Miss Craig, for her, I can't even imagine the loss of a small child in your family. I'm a father, some of my fondest memories of my kids are when they were that age. For her and the parents to be able to come in here and take time after such a loss to recognize those officers that were there and show, and the kindness that they showed. That's very much appreciated. And I'd also like to thank Councilmember Jeremy Varner for all the help that he's been giving us with the Cortico project. Obviously, we all, I mean, those inside here know that, Chief Rocky's been dealing with some issues in his family with a loss in his family, which my heart goes out to him and his family as well. Jeremy's, we've done a couple of Zoom meetings so far. Things are going along well. I believe they gave us a projected time of it being 4 to 6 weeks that it would actually be up and running.
Because we're now down to 2 to 4, because, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that's trucking along. The only other thing I got a couple other things I want to talk about that happened in September. On September the 14th, I was contacted by the Brown County Sheriff's Department in the jail, advised that an inmate, Bobby Hicks, had jumped out of a vehicle on his way to rehab. They advised that he was seen. If he was seen, they wanted him so that he could serve out the remainder of his jail time. A tip was called in advising that Mr. Hicks was at a residence on East Green Avenue. Once on scene, he attempted to evade police by running into a nearby wooded area. He was tased and taken into custody. I am very glad that Mr. Hicks was placed into custody. As of the following day, our department filed charges on Mr. Hicks after a several-month investigation for involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of drug trafficking. And he's still in jail now. We'll be there for some time. And then it's September 16th, Officer Corey Hunnicky and Sawyer Ramel were dispatched to Market Square Apartments in reference to a report of an 8-year-old child being left alone. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the child and witnesses. Witnesses advised that the child had been left unattended for approximately 2 hours and locked out of the apartment. Child Protective Services were contacted and contact was made with the mother via telephone call in order to return to the residence. Officers described the mother's demeanor as angered and annoyed that the police were even looking into the matter. She advised that she went on an errand and to see a friend, and the child refused to come, so she left them behind. The mother was arrested for child endangerment, and CPS has an ongoing investigation. On September 25th, Sergeant Green and Deputy Sean Enlow were dispatched to a residence on Mount Orr Pike in reference to an assault. Upon arrival, officers found a man with severe cut to his head, holding a blood-covered towel to the wound, and blood throughout the residence. And Angela Campbell caused the injury and attempted to flee out the back door of the residence and was stopped and taken into custody by Deputy Enlow. While speaking with the witnesses and photographing the scene, officers observed drug paraphernalia and narcotics and seized them. Campbell was arrested for assault, and charges are pending on both the Miss Campbell and the victim for the paraphernalia and narcotics. That's all I have.
Any questions for the chief on his report? Okay. Mr. Jones, do you have anything for council?
Well, just briefly, again, this is my second week that I've been here, so needless to say, it's been a busy 2 weeks. I've been in contact with Art, not on a daily basis, but off and on over the last 2 weeks, and keeping him up to date on what I'm doing. I asked Art if he had anything to pass along to council. I believe everybody has a copy. On the first thing, the Appalachian Grant, American Structure Point will be here in a week or so to present some renderings and specifics on the projects. Once that happens, we will hold a public input meeting as required by the grant process.
Who are they meeting with?
Pardon?
Who will they be meeting with? American Structure Point's going to be
When they,
there.
Arden has asked me to sit in on that
Okay.
with him. I guess that would depend if he, can make the meeting, but under his circumstances, but I plan to be there also. And the second thing, Choice One has submitted applications for the sewer lift station and Hamer Road Water Tower project through OWDA. And we'll also apply for the EPA. I believe that's all going to be loan, I would imagine, once that application period opens. Third item was the Halloween, which has already been covered. And then he wanted to thank everybody for all the calls and texts and about his health. He's had quite a few people contact him. He wanted to send his appreciation on to everybody for that. So that's all I have.
Okay, very good. Is there anything else this council needs to be brought up before council at this time? Oh, Nancy?
One thing to answer Rob's question, the Christmas parade lineup will be at the high school parking lot at 4:30 and the parade will begin at 5:30. That's what I said. That's it.
Anything else to be brought up before council at this time? If not, then we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to.
By Mike, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, thank you for coming.
We are still live.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, maybe.